went for the best part first. Mother said, Judith, there's more to a Hostess Twinkie.
More cheese, please.
The 1980s was all about big hair, big music, big movies, and big trends. Snacks and foods in the 80s were no different, minus the hair part. People still enjoyed items from previous decades, but there were also some new and exciting things. Today we'll talk about some of the foods that helped to shape the 80s, and some of these are still around, but some of them are long gone. Pizza bagels. The pizza bagel is a mashup of crispy, chewy bagel halves smothered in tangy tomato sauce with gooey melted cheese and a few slices of pepperoni if you're feeling adventurous. A tasty adventure that can be microwaved in minutes. They were a must-have treat for sleepovers, school cafeterias, and Saturday morning cartoon marathons. And what about its catchy jingle? Pure marketing genius if you ask me. How about a quick and easy fix for extremely busy people? Hot Pockets are delicious snacks that have saved lives because of their convenience. The golden flaky crust is stuffed full of cheese and zesty sauce as well as your favorite filling. From the fridge to the microwave, and after a few minutes, you've got a hot and creamy treat that goes together with a cold, refreshing drink. One treat that was always in the pantry in the 80s was Pop-Tarts. They were perfect grab-and-go breakfast for every early morning when you needed a quick meal before work or school. Each box came with a pack of 2 wrapped in foil, and you just ate them right out of the pack, but could also warm them up in the toaster to get the edges all crispy while the filling turned to molten cream. Some of the best flavors of the 80s were strawberry, chocolate fudge, apple cinnamon, and blueberry, but they weren't only a breakfast snack or dessert. Even after dinner, guess who's snooping around in the pantry for a Pop-Tart? Do you remember Fruit by the Foot? The 3 feet of fruity, chewy goodness? Launched by General Mills under the Betty Crocker brand in the 80s, it was the coolest sugary thing in your lunchbox as a kid. You tear off the strip of wrapping to unravel the bright neon-colored fruit candy. But it wasn't only for kids. Adults would share the candy with their significant other, chewing from opposite ends, inch by inch until, well, you know. If you're craving more fruity flavors, then Gushers was the way to go. Soft and chewy, the fruit snack was packed full of a mysterious and juicy center that would explode with flavor in your mouth. There were classics like strawberry, blueberry, and tropical, and who could forget that nostalgic commercial that made every kid think their head was going to become a fruit? If there was one candy that truly made an impression in the 80s, it was Pop Rocks. The tiny, colorful crystals hit your tongue and began to pop and fizz, causing a soda explosion in your mouth. They were like soda, but in solid form, and came in a variety of colors from cherry to watermelon, grape, and even blue raspberry. The tingle on your tongue was the most exciting part for kids, and they dared each other to mix the flavors and even try an entire pack at once. The neon orange finger dust was the calling card of the most delicious snack of all time, Cheetos. It remains the cheesiest and most addictive snack of the era. Cheetos came in 2 types in the 80s, Crunchy, which was crispy and made quite the sound when you chewed, and then the Puffs, another variation that was big, airy, and melted in your mouth. The polarizing variations didn't affect fans, as everyone loved both of them. You couldn't have a Cheeto without getting caught. The orange finger was always the dead giveaway. When Keebler Magic Middles hit the market in the 1980s, they quickly became a huge success. The unforgettable ad was both hilarious and entertaining, and when it came to the taste, the chocolate-filled cookies were excellent. The soft texture of the shortbread melded with the inner chocolate and peanut butter filling to create a magical burst of flavor, sending your taste buds on an adventure. But not every good thing lasts forever. They vanished from the shelves in the 90s, and fans have been asking and even petitioning for a comeback. Twinkies have been around since the 1930s, but in the 80s they became the best thing to happen to kids. They were a vital part of American snacks and even featured in blockbusters like Gremlins, Die Hard, and Ghostbusters. The crazy thing about the delicious, squishy double vanilla cake filled with cream was that it was rumored to have an infinite shelf life. Twinkies briefly disappeared from shelves when Hostess went bankrupt in 2012, but made a comeback a year later. Did you eat your Twinkie the normal way, or squeeze out the delicious creamy filling first? If you're a fan of cupcakes, you love Hostess cupcakes. The rich and moist cake with a creamy center that had that iconic white swirl at the top. Kids would trade everything on their plate for a bit of this cupcake in the cafeteria. Hostess came in a few varieties, the chocolate classic, the golden vanilla, and whether it was served as a snack at a party or you came across a pack in a vending machine, it didn't last very long. Next up is Bagel Bites. Created in 1985, these bite-sized treats were one of the most popular frozen snacks of the 80s and combined the chewy texture of the bagel with the classic cheese and tomato sauce flavor of pizza. Each bagel bite featured a mini bagel base topped with tomato sauce, mozzarella cheese, and toppings like sausage and pepperoni. And the best part is, they were easy to prepare. Just a few minutes in the oven or the microwave, and your cheesy snack was ready. Bringing your own lunch to school wasn't always the coolest. Sometimes you got a bologna sandwich and other times a soggy, boring mystery meal. But everything changed when Lunchables hit the market. Suddenly, your lunch was the coolest at the table. Lunchables came with a familiar yellow box, providing you with all the ingredients to make your own DIY meal. Crackers, slices of ham, cheese, pepperoni, turkey, and everything for a delicious snack was intact. If you were lucky, it may have just come with a candy bar or a Capri Sun, and then you got other kids drooling. Now we turn the page to a frozen snack the kids couldn't do without. The Jell-O Pudding Pop wasn't your regular ice pop. It was a refreshment that combined the creamy texture of pudding with the chill of a popsicle. Made from actual Jell-O pudding and frozen into a convenient handheld form, it made it easy for kids to hold. The Jell-O held the popsicle together, providing a more indulgent taste. You had 3 flavors to choose from, with chocolate vanilla and the chocolate and vanilla swirl. The Jell-O Pudding Pop was discontinued in the early 2000s, and other brands have attempted to replicate it, but the originality and texture of the Pudding Pop remains unmatched. Chex Mix. Is it a cereal or a snack? Well, it's both. Chex Mix is what you get when you mix wheat, corn, and rice cereal with nuts, pretzels, and rye chips. Add some seasoning and then bake to perfection. It came in a wide variety of shapes and sizes and said that you really know a person if you can tell what Chex Mix piece was their favorite. The crispy snack hit the stores and became an essential at every party, and if you had a pack of the mix on you at school, you suddenly became popular, at least until the pack was empty. No time to make dinner after a hard day's work? Well, you don't have to thanks to microwave TV dinners. With the press of a button, you can go from frozen to ready to eat in minutes, right in time for the football game. The microwave dinner is a nourishing meal made for busy families and anyone who didn't want the hassle of cooking. They came in pre-packaged and compartmentalized, containing a variety of categories. Courses included steak, fried chicken, turkey and gravy or meatloaf, and the sides were typically macaroni and cheese, mixed vegetables, and mashed potatoes. While desserts were brownies, pudding, or apple crisps. Whether it was the Kid Cuisine, Banquet, Hungry Man, or Swanson, the TV dinners were the best option in affordability, proportion, and time. In the 1980s, Hamburger Helper was a dinner-time lifesaver for families that needed an easy way to make meals in the shortest time possible. Introduced by Betty Crocker in 1971, the box kit became more popular in the 80s for its affordability, deliciousness, and convenience. Each kit included a seasoned pasta or rice mixture, powdered or sauced packet for flavor, and clear instructions on how to prepare on the stovetop in under 30 minutes. With a variety of family flavors such as beef stroganoff, lasagna, and taco, you were certain of original and delicious meals every time. Before microwave popcorn took over in the late 80s, the Jiffy Pop was the most exciting way to make popcorn at home. It wasn't only about the popcorn, it was the experience. You'd watch the foil dome puff up over the stove while the corns popped, a most entertaining sight. Jiffy Pop came in a round aluminum pan full of popcorn kernels and a pre-measured amount of oil and butter for flavoring. The foil started flat with a crimped lid, but as it heats up on the stove, it expands. Once the popping stopped, your popcorn was ready. It was essentially movie theater popcorn right in the comfort of your home. If you grew up in the 80s, you remember breakfasts with Eggo waffles, the quick and crispy golden waffles that certainly beat homemade ones that your mom made. They had a light and airy texture with a slightly sweet flavor, blending perfectly with syrup and butter, as well as other toppings like fruit, whipped cream, and peanut butter. What made them so great? They expanded beyond classic buttermilk waffles to a variety of fruity flavors and remain popular today if you know where to look. How about the tasty and budget-friendly ramen noodles? The Meal of Champions was popular in the 80s and a last resort for busy people as well as those who were on a budget. If you were looking for a quick fix, all you needed was boiling water and 3 minutes of patience. And the silver seasoning packet? It featured flavors of chicken, beef, and shrimp, all packaged in with a crunchy, dry ramen. If you wanted to do something different, you threw in some veggies, cracked an egg, or even shred cheese for that extra creaminess. Who could forget the ultimate thirst quencher of the 80s, the Kool-Aid? The powdered drink mix that turned ordinary water to a bright sugary drink with a burst of fruit flavor, all in a few stirs. The manufacturers certainly did a great job with the Kool-Aid Man commercial that kids found hilarious. The popular flavors of the 80s were cherry, grape, lemon, lime, tropical punch, and blue raspberry lemonade, all perfect on a hot summer day. Does anyone remember the citrusy taste of Tang? The powdered orange drink was marketed with a space-age gimmick implying that it was beyond its years. To make things more interesting, it was marketed as the official drink of NASA astronauts. It made kids feel like they were sipping on something special that could take them to the moon. Tang is a fun mix, providing that daily dose of vitamin C and energy needed to get through the day. If you opened up your lunchbox in the 80s and saw fruit roll-ups, you knew you were about to become the center of attention when your friends found out. The snacks were thin, chewy fruit-flavored sheets with bright, bold flavors that were fruity in the most intense way. They included cutout shapes or wacky patterns of abstract stuff like stars and dinosaurs, and kids loved to twist and fold and wrap them around their fingers to taunt their peers before gobbling up the snack. It wasn't only a chewy fruit snack, it was an interactive and fun way for kids to eat. Everyone knows the delightful Oreo cookie, the one snack that's outlived others and continues to sell massively worldwide. Oreos were double chocolate cookies with cream in the middle, simple, classic, and one of the world's best cookies to date. While there are many ways to enjoy an Oreo, the one that's most popular is with milk. You either dunk the cookie in the milk and take a bite when it soaks up a bit of creaminess, or whatever order that allows you to enjoy it best. Now on to one of the most legendary peanut butter candies of all time, the Reese's Pieces. These tiny, colorful bites looked almost like M&Ms, but couldn't be more different. Reese's had a signatory peanut butter taste with a crunchy and colorful shell, making it difficult to stop once you started. The candy launched by Hershey's in 1978 became more popular in the 80s when it was featured in the blockbuster movie E.T., which became an instant success. The snack was perfect for every occasion. Now it's time for Mentos. Serving as both a tasty candy and a remedy for fresh breath, it appeared in commercials, showing more than just a chewy experience. It offered a crunchy shell and a soft center. It came in peppermint, spearmint, fruit mix, and cinnamon, and whether you were busy at work, feeling drained of the hot summer sun, or hanging out with friends, the candy always provided a burst of flavor and fun, entertainment, and energy when you needed to turn around your day. Back in the 1980s, Dunkin' Donuts was an early morning ritual, whether you were going to work, school, or even cruising around town in your wood panel station wagon. You certainly stopped at Dunkin' to grab some fresh donuts and a steaming cup of coffee for the adults. Kids would absolutely love the chocolate frosted and powdered sugar explosion, and if you know Dunkin', well then you know it had a whole spread of mouth-watering flavors. Jelly-filled, Boston cream, glazed, and don't get me started on the munchkins, it was easy to see why even the police can't get enough of these donuts. S'mores were a staple in backyard bonfires, summer night sleepovers, and camping in the woods. If you were going to have a few kids cramped out under the stars, you should have some s'mores. All you needed was graham crackers, a slab of chocolate, and a fire-roasted marshmallow. And the fun part is usually the roasting over an open flame to get that melty treat. S'mores were often a gamble, as some people were able to get a perfect golden brown color, while others ended up setting theirs on fire and blowing out the flame and eating it anyway. Since most children weren't going to wait to go camping before getting their hands on some, homemade stovetop s'mores with some Hershey's was always an alternative. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and in the 1980s you'd start off with a big bowl of your favorite cold cereal. The sugary delights were often colorful and came in different brands, some having fun colors and shapes and sizes, and if you were lucky, you had a plastic toy surprise inside. Cold cereals were a must-have while watching Saturday morning cartoons, and every brand had its own fun and lovable mascot that made the cereal commercial jingle memorable. Who could forget Toucan Sam, Count Chocula, and Tony the Tiger? Nothing beat the taste of a bowl of Cap'n Crunch, Golden Grahams, Fruit Loops, or Honey Nut Cheerios, and no morning was complete without them. Nothing is as satisfying as tearing open a frosty wrapper of an ice cream bar on a hot summer day. The first bite was guaranteed to be brain freeze if you did it wrong, and in some cases you'd have to chase down the ice cream truck to get that delicious treat or take a trip to the grocery store. The 80s came with a barrage of ice cream bar brands, and it was always challenging to pick one. Since they came on a stick, they were easy to grab and eat on the go, and no bowl or spoon would be needed. Brands like Klondike Bars, Good Humor, Fudgesicle, Nestle, and Choco Taco competed massively in flavor and taste, making the decision even more difficult. Many of the brands stood the test of time and are still available in stores today. Now for a snack that revolutionized after-school munchies, the one and only pizza roll. Made by Totino's, these little golden bite-sized pockets of pizza goodness were loved by fans, and it was crispy on the outside while being full of piping hot cheese and a squirt of tangy tomato sauce inside with either pepperoni or sausage. The perfect go-to snack, the hot pizza rolls were a delight to the senses and a huge part of the 80s kid childhood. Which of these tasty treats do you remember the most? And which classic treats from the 80s did I miss? Be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Also subscribe to the channel so that you never miss another great video like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.